All right. I think we all got it now. Hard work, discipline is the recipe for success. The American dream, stuff like that. And listen, I bet that if you've just as much as searched the word discipline, you've run into our favorite motivational guy, David Goggins. The guy who ran 100 miles on broken feet. And while this might seem, extreme and maybe a little bit, cliche, I think that all cliches hold some sort of truth. But if we look at David Goggins, he's a true inspirational example of how you can turn your life completely around and go from being fat and unsuccessful, unhappy, to becoming this honestly just brutally tough motherfucker who dominates the Navy and who has massive amounts of success and helps other people improve their lives. Let's dive into it. All right, so I'll try to explain the brain, or more accurately the mind, in a way that you'll be more likely to understand it. So if we compare it to muscles, we all know that muscles need some sort of frequent stimulation to maintain their size. If they don't get stimulated, they will eventually diminish and get smaller. However, if you subject them to progressive overload over a larger amount of time, they will eventually grow bigger. So let's look at the mind as a muscle. So it goes the same way for the mind, that if you don't train it, if you do all of these consuming activities such as social media, video games that just instantly release dopamine, your mind and thereby your discipline will diminish a lot. However, if you consistently train your mind, it will eventually get stronger and you will become way more disciplined. Just like your muscles, your brain needs some sort of recovery time. And usually you get this by, sleeping, or just relaxing in general, and that's why you shouldn't completely cut out relaxation. But you can train your mind to become more durable by doing these simple things. Alright, so this first thing I got from the YouTuber Hamza, and he's a great inspiration of mine. And it goes, do the hard things, especially when you don't want to. Alright, so essentially, the better you become at doing the things that you have to do, especially when you don't want to do it, like you'll just be able to deal with the more tedious parts of life. This includes all types of stuff. So if you're a student, this means like homework, assignments will be way easier. Cleaning your room, cooking, whatever this might be, like it'll just become way easier in general. Now, this thing basically applies to anything in life, really. Like if you have a specific goal but you're struggling to achieve it, the only way you really achieve it is by doing it even though you know you're not good at it. I think the key part behind this is that if you can't even control your mind, you won't be able to control your actions. And this means that if you can't even push yourself to do the things you don't want to do, then how will you be able to control your future? How will you be able to land that dream job of yours or lift that heavy weight, if you can't even control your own mind? And I promise you that if you manage to learn this and adapt it into your life, like you will literally become unstoppable. Okay, so this next one is a key one too, and it's dopamine detoxing. What this essentially means is removing all the sources that release instant dopamine. And as I mentioned before, this could be social media, video games, porn, anything that gives you this sort of instant feeling of happiness, but you're still conscious that you're not actually happy. Now, once you remove all of these sources, your average kind of base level of dopamine will just drop immensely. You'll make your mind more susceptible to the small amounts of dopamine that you get from, tasks like reading. Another huge one, and this is something I recently tried out, is meditating. And I know, again, this might sound like some sort of influencer thing going on right now, but it's actually it's really good for you. When you sit in this relaxed position, you just focus on your breathing, controlling the inhaling, the exhaling, you will notice that your mind will drift away several times. And the awareness that you're not able to keep your attention towards one specific thing, like your breathing, was really like a mind opener for me, because I really released how short my attention span was. So I really encourage you to try meditating. Just do it 5 or 10 minutes, whatever you can fit into your everyday schedule. So another key thing in building discipline is identifying your everyday obstacles. So we've kind of already talked a bit about this, but it's basically knowing what is difficult for you. And an example of this could be, if you know that school is especially hard for you, you should take some additional time out of your schedule, so that way you can really focus on school. Because once you start setting aside a little bit of extra time for school, you will start catching up and it will become easier, and you will get more energy and become less stressed. And that will just have a positive effect on everything else regarding your life. Alright guys, that's all I have for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you in the next one.